Thank you, Scotty. Fantastic that you've managed to find Tundi again. Much easier when they've got a kill, that they don't move around, and elephants don't chase them to the other side of the river. No one helped me, Scotty. I found them on my own. Craig did spot them as we were coming in. I tracked them to not too far from here, and then I just had that tingly feeling in my tummy that said, let's go back and get the car. And we did, and here they are, lying up in the shade, not too far, probably about 250 meters or so from where they were. So a little bit further than expected that they moved. But it's obvious that the elephants gave them a bit of a run around, and instead of sticking around too close, they decided to move off. Because big elephants are very easily able to squash a lion, and it's always fun watching lions be chased by elephants. The king of the jungle, pushed away and made to look like a weeping child. It's really quite something to see. I know Scott saw some of that before the TV show with the mating pair, Amber Eyes and her lover, her consort of the day. I forget which one it was. And they were right here at Buffelshoek Dam, and the lions were chased away by the elephant, and the lions are almost more interested than afraid. They know they're not going to win, but they're still looking very keenly for any sort of opening when they see a breeding herd. Maybe they instinctively know that sometimes they can actually pull those youngsters down when the adults are not watching. And the youngster we saw this morning, I remember, if any of you were watching, it was tiny, and a pride like this would do very well on an animal like that if they could get it away from the mother. But she was a very big cow, and I don't know if she would tolerate any of the Nkuhuma's attention on her little baby. Fantastic. The wind has picked up a little bit. There's a nice breeze coming in from where is that coming in from? The east, it feels like, which is not where our rain comes from. There seems to be some cloud build-up coming up from the west, but not too much in the way of rain or coolness this afternoon, as one lion moves off to join another in a shady spot, which is obviously better than this one, hence it wouldn't move. Hence it would move, yep. Fantastic. So we're going to stay here for a little while longer, see what these lions get up to. We might move off shortly in search of something spectacular, but in the meanwhile, let's go to Brent with some elephant activity. Thank you, Brett. Yes, Brent, it does sound like you're loving being back in the Sabi Sands. It is such a different place compared to the Mara, and I know with your vast experience down here, there's all sorts of little stories and tales that the viewers, I'm sure, are really going to enjoy. And we are still with these adorable Nkuhumas, and they are doing what lions do at this time of day. They are nice and flat, and it is hot. So they are not going to be going anywhere. So I'm going to do this last little segment here with them, and then maybe go off and find a few more interesting things, and then we can maybe come back here after dark. Rumpa, very good question. Climate change, has it had an impact on the weather systems? Well, I think so. In my personal experience, we're getting rain later in the season as opposed to earlier, and we're also getting out-of-season rain. So we're getting rain in June and July, which is not common in these areas, but I do speak from my own experience. I haven't looked at any databases to see these stats, but normally we get rain from about September, but October normally, and then all the way through to February, March. Now we're seeing the rain is only coming in late December, maybe even January, and then it's maybe lasting a bit longer. And then we're also getting out-of-season rain in our winter months, which is classic characteristic of savannas, is a summer rainfall. So getting rain in the winter months is just not right. So temperatures also fluctuating, but I'd have to look at some more statistics. But through my own experience, I feel there has been a change, and it is going to get worse. So those of you out there who don't believe in climate change, I think it is important to pay attention to the drivers. And the thing that is most noticeable about climate change is the birds. Because what birds are doing is birds are respondent to temperature and food. And so when a bird is migrating, it leaves Europe because of the temperature, and then leaves South Africa because of the temperature. Now birds are leaving Europe later and they're arriving in South Africa later, and they're also leaving South Africa later. So they're moving mainly because of temperature and then also food resource. So that is a very interesting aspect to look at for climate change, is birds and how they're moving. They're doing lots of work on that at the moment. It's quite a new science. So, yeah, there were no carmines that I saw this year. The European bee-eaters are still here. A lot of the breeding migrants, or the migrants from Europe, are still here, but we'll see. We'll note when they leave, but there is a noticeable change in the dates that they're arriving and the dates when they're leaving Europe. So Europe is not as cold as it was, or getting colder later. So these are noticeable things that scientists are able to look at, and birds, because they can move. Obviously, lions or trees and plants can't really move. The lions can move with response to the savanna biome itself, but they can't just pack up and leave and go to North Africa. That's quite a journey, but birds can. So it's something to watch, and let's have a look at the smallest member of the Nkuhuma Pride playing with, who I think is Amber Eyes. This could end badly. She doesn't like little cubs. Winter Rain wants to know what colour lions' eyes are. Well, most of them are a bit of a golden colour, and in the name of Amber Eyes, she has got very amber-coloured eyes. But they are a beautiful amber golden colour. The majority, I never noticed the difference in lions' eyes until I came here and I was told of a lion by the name of Amber Eyes. So I'm not sure if they change between areas, if you get different coloured eyes all over the place. It's not something I've really noticed in my life, but very, very orangey golden colour. Beautiful, beautiful eyes. They stare right through your soul. In African tradition, to be a man is to be able to stand your ground eye to eye, locked with the male lion. Jaden wants to know how other lions get accepted into pride. They don't actually, Jaden. The pride of lions consists of a female or females, a set of females with their offspring who are invariably females, and then obviously the grannies, and then the daughters grow up to become the adults. And I've never noticed or ever heard a story of a group of lions accepting another lioness from another pride. I know John Varty years ago tried to re-establish or try to reintroduce a lioness he'd rehabilitated, and I think it nearly died, or it actually got killed by the lions. I can't remember the end of that, but it was not successful. Males will come and go, and they need to prove themselves in the pride for the females to accept them from a mating point of view. But females are, unless there's a story out there, I've never heard of a female lioness or other lionesses being accepted into the pride of other lionesses, because they are genetically the same and they live for each other. It's all about their genes going forward, and any other lioness is seen as severe competition and will be dispatched if necessary. Sounds quite violent. It is. It can be. Lions fighting can be one of the most dramatic things out in the African bush. So from our serene sighting of these beautiful large cats, let's go to Scotty D with one of the most beautiful animals on the property. Thank you, Scotty. Yes, all we would like is a little bit of action from our cats this afternoon. I did have a lot of time with them this morning, and they were playing and jumping in the tree, which was marvelous. But here they are, doing what lions do best, flat. We are just next to a termite mound with lots of little holes in it, just left of us here. The lions have been lying here probably from when we left an hour or so ago. And Craig has spotted a dwarf mongoose who pops his head out every now and again, and he's probably completely terrified that there are an entire pride of lions surrounding his home. Surely the lions won't get in there, but the mongoose just pops his head out, and now there's this vehicle with human beings on it. I think he thinks the whole world has come to an end. So from the smallest carnivore we have here on the African plains to the largest. At least the mongoose is a little bit more active, although he is hiding in his burrow, not even making a noise, lest they attract the attention of these big hairy lions. We saw what one did to a hare this morning. Those of you who are watching, if you weren't with us, one of the youngsters of the pride managed to, as the pride was moving out of the dam line area, it moved into a small little buffalo thorn bush, and I thought it was just being silly until it made a funny noise. I thought it was then fighting with another one, and then it came out with a scrub hare in its jaws, which was marvelous. We went down into the river and watched it eat, and it quickly stopped looking like a scrub hare. It looked like a ball of something. But we saw the lion eat its head and its feet and left absolutely nothing behind. And it was such interesting behavior. Poor dwarf mongoose. Yes, Rain Ranko, poor dwarf mongoose. Indeed. But what I found super amazing... Yes, okay. So, before we talk more about these lions, I believe Brent has got something quite special down in Djuma. There it is. Let's see if we can see his face. It's a little dwarf mongoose. He's absolutely terrified. Did you see his ear? How cute is that? There we go. There's the nose. That's too much. That's as much as it wants to put out. We might hear a helicopter in the background. It is quite prominent with the anti-poaching patrols that happen in the Kruger. We're not far from the boundary of Kruger there. So if that's you hear a helicopter, I apologize for that. Can you give me that name again, please, Nix? Broth. Hello, sir. Or ma'am, I'm not sure. How are we not in danger with the lions so close? The lions are very aware that we are a unit in a box. They don't see us as food. I explained a little bit this morning that lions aren't intelligent. They are instinctive, and they have evolved on the landscape, the savanna landscape, with the bipedal man walking as we do, and they have a fear of us on foot during the day because we, for many, many, many years, have hunted and chased and competed with them. At night, it's a very different story. But then along 60, 70 years ago, along came a vehicle that smells of diesel, or in the case of this, smells of petrol. And it makes a noise. It smells very different from any man they've ever smelt. And we look very different from any man they've ever seen. And so they got used to the vehicle. But it took a long time for that to happen. It didn't happen overnight. And once the adults are relaxed to the vehicle, the cubs very, very quickly become used to it. It's the same as with the leopards. They get what we call habituated, but by no means, Broth, are these animals tame or completely relaxed to people. They see us as a box. I can't explain it better than that. If I had to open my door, not that I have a door on my side, but I'm on the opposite side of the vehicle. If I had to open or get out and walk, I would die. I could potentially die. Okay, so don't ever think that, oh, these are tame lions. Let me go and quickly scratch their tummy or have a little tap. Well, I would probably die and I'd be eaten alive. So I would not do that. It is a misconception that people think these things are tame, but by no means are they. If I was further away and it was daytime and I walked from my car, they probably would run away from me. But because we are so close, we're about 8 yards, maybe even less than that, 6, 7 yards away from these lions. If I had to step out the car now into that zone, they would have to defend themselves or run away. And because I'm so close, the chances are they'd more likely defend themselves. And once they attacked me through defense, they would get the blood of me in their nose, and then it would just become a feeding frenzy. And then that would be the end of my safari life career. But thankfully, I have not done that in years, and I don't intend to do it. Giraffe girl, you just want to come and tickle that belly of the lion, don't you? Yes, this is very de-stressing. They have got not a worry in the world. I wish if everyone out there could realize that life is as simple as that. You know, we just need to eat, do a bit of cleaning and grooming and sort of socializing with our family, and then the rest of the day we just rest and take it easy, do what we need to do, spend some time on your back or with your head on your friend's bottom, however you'd like to spend your day. I think lions make us realize that life is not that complicated. We make it very complicated. They just sleep, get up, move, drink, hunt, groom, sleep some more. and so on. So, Giraffe Girl, I'm glad that these lions are de-stressing you, and I'm glad we can bring you these pictures all the way to your home, wherever you may be. Okay, so while we have these cats lying flat, let's go over to Scotty Dyson. Hopefully he's got some action with Tundi. Welcome back to our pile of lions. And that youngster just had a little yawn. It is such hard work being a lion, ladies and gentlemen. We've just been lying here for 2 days without moving. Very, very hard work. Oh, another yawn. Oh, this is terrible. How hard is our life? I have no doubt they will get up at some point of this evening and be off on a hunt. It's going to be a very dark night. The moon is only going to rise very, very late. And I think they've probably taken the last 2 days to digest the buffalo that they had, and they're probably starting to get a little bit of hunger pains. The one youngster who had the 3 kilogram scrub hair this morning is probably doing all right, but the rest of them are probably in the need of a little bit of a snack. They can go for about 2 weeks without eating, but they don't choose to do that. That's just in times of abundance, or lack of abundance of prey animals, should I say. But I don't think they're going to do much in the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. But who knows? This is live. We cannot predict what could happen. The dwarf mongoose might come out and chase the lions off. Now, I'm pretty sure that won't happen. But you never know what could happen live in the bush. Fluffy the bunny, hello, what an interesting name. What colour is the lion's skin? I believe it is black. I think so. I mean, you look at the nipple of the females are black, and then the nose around the edges, and then around the lips as well. And that is, I was told the other day, which is very interesting, around the lips, it's for the blackness is for the melanin, to protect their lips when they're fighting and when they're feeding, and sharp bones. But I've never physically shaved a lion down to see the skin underneath. But most dogs and cats, I think, I've got quite dark skin. But then I could be mistaken. Does anybody else out there know what colour the lion's skin is? Hashtag Safari Live. Okay, but please send through that comment if you do know, because it is time for myself and Craig to say good night to you. We will see you tomorrow morning bright and early for another safari. We're going to go back over for the final words from Scott and his amazing Tundi.